This is the Mafia Minute presented by Season Fantasy Football. I am Magnum Mills here with Jamie G, a card-carrying member of the Bills Mafia, and we're here to talk about the Week 2 matchup on Thursday Night Football, traveling to Miami to face those Dolphins, trying to squish said fish. Thanks again for checking out the Mafia Minute. Like I said, presented by Season Fantasy Football. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, on social media at SeasonFF, on the internet at MafiaMinute.com. Nice and easy to remember, just like the flaps. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please remember to hit the thumb. Jamie G, how are you doing? Are you ready for some Thursday Night Football?
Jamie G Esquire the fifth is ready, baby. This is a big one. Divisional matchup. Miami week is always something every single year. Anytime we're playing a divisional foe, I am full blown. I hate that divisional foe, and I want to do anything I can to win. Excited about this one. Primetime game. Bills have been okay on primetime games last couple of years. Excited to see how they do. Both teams coming off a short week. Bills got some injuries. Nothing new there. Next man up. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, let's get right into the injuries. With the really, really good news up front, Josh Allen, quarterback, had an injury to his non-throwing hand, already cleared to play in week 2. So wipe that sweat off your brow. And the not good news, all-pro corner Taron Johnson left the first quarter of the week 1 matchup with a forearm injury, already been declared out for week 2. That is not good. Huge loss for the defense. Defensive end Dwayne Smoot was out in week 1. He will be out once again with a toe injury. And running back Ty Johnson is currently questionable. On the Dolphins side of the ball, they got a few players listed as questionable. Running backs Devin Achane and Raheem Morris. You have linebacker Jalen Phillips and cornerback Jalen Ramsey, all listed as questionable, all of whom I would expect to play. Jamie G, any thoughts on the injury report? Other than losing Taron Johnson is just a massive loss.
Losing Taron Johnson is huge. That really, really changes how we play defense. For those of you out there, you know that the Bills, Bills fans know we're in nickel a lot. And the reason why we can afford to be in nickel and still be a really good defense all the time in nickel is because of Taron Johnson. He's the best corner, slot nickel corner in the league by far. It's not even close. He is an impact player. He's all over the field. This is a huge loss. Yes, they'll have somebody step in. Yes, they'll try to do their best. But this is tough. He covers everything from tight ends to wide receivers to backs coming out of the backfield. He's a leader on the field. He knows the defense in and out. This sucks big time when you're already missing, Matt Milano. So this is just terrible. I mean, he was like the one other guy on defense that I was like, we can't afford to lose, right? Well, we lost him. Still haven't heard what that is. Hopefully, we get him back sooner rather than later. But we got to go to Miami and win without him. It is what it is.
JBD, they say that Taron Johnson is a forearm injury. I don't know if you saw this. Did you see Ludacris throwing out the first pitch with like those ridiculous arms he had from like the Get Back video back in the day? They should just give one of those to Taron Johnson. He's just out in the field with the giant, just oversized, comical Ludacris arm. You know how guys have the club? He's just got a giant arm. I think that would actually be pretty awesome. I would totally be there for that.
I would love it, man. I'm a little surprised they didn't just club him up. I mean, we've seen guys on defense that don't have to catch the ball, just wear full on clubs and stuff. I'm hoping it's a sign that maybe it's not as long term as we're worried about. Maybe it'll be back next week. Just a short week. They didn't want to push it. We'll see.
Yeah, you worry it's more at the end of the forearm with the elbow or the wrist, but hopefully that is not the case. But we have to face the reality. We have to examine the tail of the tape, see what we're working with. This is week 2 of the 2024 season, Thursday Night Football on Prime Video, Thursday, September 12th, 2024, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Buffalo Bills at the Dolphins. Right now, the Dolphins are 2-point favorites. They're minus 125 on the money line, while the Buffalo Bills are 2-point underdogs plus 105 on the money line. The Vegas game total is 49 points. The weather looks like pretty typical Miami for this time of year. Temps in the low 80s, humidity around 84%, light winds between 5 and 10 miles an hour, and we've got about a 60% chance of thunderstorms right up until game time. And Jamie G, it's time to get into the game, preview the game, and you know my keys. We need to hear your keys, Jamie G. What are the keys to victory for the Bills this week as they're going to Miami?
Yeah, I got four important ones here, Mills. First off, number one, the pass defense has to be on point here. We've got to limit the big plays down the field from Hill and Waddle. We can't be giving up 80, 90-yard touchdown receptions from those two. And we got to find a way to fill the void left by not having Taron Johnson. So pass defense really got to come to play here. I know it's a team sport, and that means the front of the house has got to do their job. Guess what? That is key number two. We need a pass rush, man. We saw it come to life in the second half of that Arizona game. We need it to come to life in Miami. I expect the crowd to be mostly Bills fans because that's how Bills Mafia rolls, baby. But it is an away game, even though if we make it a home game with our fans, it doesn't matter. We got to be able to get after and hit Tua. When Tua gets rushed and you get him off his spot, it's all timing for him. If he gets hit, he starts to get spooked and he's not an effective quarterback. So hitting Tua, pressuring Tua, and winning on the line of scrimmage defensively is going to be key. Number three, we're going to go over to the offensive side of the ball here. We have to win the time of possession. This was something that we saw the Bills do down the stretch last year, and it really paid dividends for them. They did not do a good enough job of it in week one. In fact, Arizona was doing the work controlling the ball, particularly in that first half. They got to win the time of possession battle here and control the clock, control the ball, move the field, move the ball down the field, take, hey, 7, 8 play drives, 10, 11-minute drives. That should be the norm for us. But let's win the time of possession battle. I think that's going to be important in this one. And last but not least, for the love of God, kick with a goddamn purpose. We need to win the kicking game. This is 2 weeks in a row. You're on my keys here. You gotta win the kicking game. I don't want to see Bass. I don't want to see misfield. I do not want to see you kick the ball out of bounds on a kickoff. If we give up a touchdown on a kick return, I'm gonna absolutely go insane. Win the kicking game. All right, win the kicking game.
Very important, especially what we've seen kind of with the kickoffs really starting to be a little bit more dynamic. What the NFL was going for there, for better or worse, did not work out perfectly for the Bills. You did have a good return, but you did give up the big return. So you probably lost a little bit on that one. And we like to make predictions. And, you're from Buffalo sometimes. You like to come in hot. Jamie G, we need 3 predictions for this week. We get a mild prediction, a little bit of light joint, a medium prediction, all right, middle of the road, and then a hot prediction, a real hot take, a good, solid, hot Buffalo wing. Jamie G, start us off with your mild prediction.
Yeah, I think my mild prediction here is that Josh Allen's going to throw for more than 1.5 touchdowns. I just think he's going to get 2. This is something that he's done against Miami. I expect it to continue. I think he gets it. I think he gets 2 touchdowns. Medium here, I'm going to go with the Bull. Keon Coleman. I think he gets his first touchdown reception in Miami. Florida State guy here. I think he goes back, gets it, and gets his first one. I thought he could have had one rewatching the tape on week one. He could have had one. Josh decided to run it in, but I do think he could have had one. I think he gets one here. Hot. Mills, this may sound mild from a Bills fan, but I think it's hot. Look, the Bills are underdogs. I got them going on the road in prime time, getting a win, and that's my hot take.
Let me ask you, if I said I was willing to take the under 0.5 players on the number of Dolphins players arrested traveling to the game, how hot of a take would that be? Under 0.5 Dolphins players arrested traveling to the game. Is that hot, medium, or mild?
I think that's pretty mild here. Are we going back to the old Catholics versus convicts thing here with?
Are they going to let
University
Tyreek
of
Hill
Miami?
drive to the games anymore? I mean, has he earned a chauffeur at this point? Personally, I know he's got a cool car and everything, but I'm all for a driver, dude. If I don't have to drive, I don't mind driving. Man, if you can get someone to drive you around, I feel like that is just the ultimate flex.
I'm not driving
Anything
anywhere.
else you would like to talk about the game here? Anything else that's sticking out for you, be it a matchup, player, anything at all?
I think that we didn't really see the tight ends for the Bills last week. I think that could change this week. I think Dalton Kincaid could have himself a little bit of day here. Look, the Miami's defense looked like it was back from a pass rush standpoint against Jacksonville. So I think the Bills are going to have a really good game plan here. And I think being able to kind of hit the easy button with Dalton Kincaid, he makes it look so easy, particularly on third downs. I think it might be a good matchup for Dalton Kincaid this week.
Any worries at all about the safeties? Both of them seem to struggle at times in week one. The Dolphins have a ton of team speed. They like to go for those big plays. You think what do you think the coach is doing to try to kind of clean that up this week?
Yeah, I think the communication needs to be better. One of the biggest concerns that I had in that game was the first half defense. There was guys running all over the field, blown coverages, open receivers, missed tackles, just really sloppy football. It didn't look like a defensive unit that everyone was in sync and knew exactly where they needed to be. Terrell Bernard's got a big job on his hand. He lost Matt Milano, who's a secondary coach. He lost Taron Johnson, who's a secondary coach on the field. So this is he's got two new safeties. This is a tough challenge for him to lead that defense. I think they got to have a really good plan, and it starts with getting it together on the back end of that and playing the disguises that they want to play that makes the pass rush so effective. So I am concerned about it. They did seem to mitigate it in the second half of that game. We'll see what happens, but yeah, it's definitely a concern for me, Mills.
Who's getting the first sack of the game for the Bills?
I gotta go with I'm gonna actually, you know what, the easy money would be on Gregory Rousseau, but I'm going Ed Oliver, baby. I think he rides the horse all the way in. Eddie
Too much
money.
for Von Miller to get a sack for the second week in a row?
No, it's not. I think his pass rush looked really good last week. He had burst, he had strength. Wouldn't surprise me at all. I think this offensive line in Miami is going to be challenged by the Bills' defensive front. At least I hope so. They lost Robert Hunt. They lost a couple pieces. I think it could be a challenge for them defensively. I expect our defensive front to win that battle.
One thing that stuck out to me at the end of the game against the Cardinals is the way they use their timeouts. And I got the impression that Jonathan Gannon just thought the Bills were gassed and he wanted to keep them on the field. And that's why he deployed his timeouts really by not deploying them there. Do you have any worries about the Bills' endurance here with the humidity, with the heat? Again, it's not full on Miami during the day, but it's definitely going to be humid and muggy down there.
I remember a couple years ago, guys couldn't even breathe. It was like a heat index of 120 on a Sunday at 1 p.m. game. I think it was week 2 as well. It came down to, last second. The Bills, just ran out of time. They were driving. So I think they'll be all right here. I think Coach McDermott knows how to have his team prepped. I expect him to be prepped and conditioned. I think it just came down to a lot of new pieces on defense and a new play caller on defense. And, it wouldn't surprise me if Sean McDermott stepped in that second half and started, calling some plays and getting more involved. It won't surprise me if he does that this week as well.
While you're watching the game, you want to have a little bit of fun with it. So we're going to help you out with our Bills bets. And just to get you excited, last week, week 1, we hit our 3-leg single game parlay, our tripod. We had James Cook, 25 plus receiving yards. James Conner to score an anytime touchdown that's rushing or receiving. Josh Allen, same thing, anytime touchdown, rushing or receiving. You put those 3 together, it was plus 1,100. So if you put $100 on that, you took home $1,200. So nice start to the season on that one there. We are 1 for 1 on our tripods, up 1,100. JBG, you're 1 for 1 on your wagers. You're up a little bit over $74. I am 0 for 1, so I'm down 100. But as a show, we're up almost 1,100, 1 for 3 overall. So we're doing good. I'm going to get back in the positives here with James Cook, our guy, over 86.5 rushing plus receiving yards. That's minus 115. So just to have them combined, get to 87 rushing plus receiving yards in the victory, taking home the dollars. Jamie G, what's your Bills bet for week 2?
Yeah, Mills, I really, really, really like this one. I just can't get myself off of it. Bills plus 3.5. I just can't get myself off of it. I love this bet. I just, I think they're going to win. If they lose, I don't think it's by more than a field goal. I really like this bet. Bills plus 3.5.
Jamie G, we did it last week. We're going to try to run it back again this week with our tripod, a 3-leg single game parlay. Up top, we've got Josh Allen to score an anytime touchdown once again, rushing or receiving. Passing touchdown doesn't count for this. That's minus 115 by itself. Then we have Khalil Shakir over 3.5 receptions. That's minus 115. So 4 or more receptions, we win that leg. And then finally, Jamie G predicted it. We're going with it here. Keon Coleman, anytime touchdown scorer. Again, rushing, receiving, can't be passing. Plus 230. You parlay those 3 legs together, you get plus 1,000. So you put $100 on it, win that bad boy, taking home $1,100. Gotta like that, right, Jamie G?
Love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's only a matter of time before the big man gets in the end zone. He's coming for you. And I think it happens this week in Miami. Really like that tripod there, Mills.
And finally, we want to have a little bit more fun when watching the game. No, just winning money on wagering isn't enough. The Bills winning isn't enough. We want to win over on Draftkings as well. And because to Jamie G and to all of Bills Mafia, Josh Allen is the king. So this is the Draft Joshes, our favorite plays for the Draftkings Thursday Night Showdown contest. between the Bills and the Dolphins. Again, this is just that single game, not the whole slate. We've already talked about this on one of our shows, Down with the King, but I'll give you the highlights here. As far as our favorite captain picks, we both agree Josh Allen is our number one captain play, 16.5K in your captain spot. And then if you had to go to the other side of the ball, we take Tyreek Hill, Dolphins wide receiver, 17.4K in your captain spot. As far as our favorite value plays, we both like Buffalo Bills value wide receiver here. Jamie G prefers Marquez Valdez-Scantling, 1,800. I like Matt Collins, 1,600. Both are cheap. Both are tall targets with a little bit of D speed. Could score a long touchdown. Maybe they both will. Jamie G likes that two or more passing touchdowns by Josh Allen, so they can both get a long one. Why not? And as far as on the Miami side of the ball, like I said, if you got to play a Miami Dolphin at the captain spot, we would go with Tyreek Hill, the wide receiver. And if you had to play a Dolphin in the flex, we have Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback over there, 9.4K, because we're planning on the Bills scoring a bunch of points. Dolphins playing from behind, and Tua racking up some of that GTP trying to win the game. And for our favorite fades, Jamie G is fading Curtis Samuel. Not all of the Bills receivers can get there. You got to pick and choose, and he is priced right around Keon Coleman, who we prefer. And I would say go ahead and fade the Miami running backs not named Devin Achane unless there is an injury. If Mostert is out, that changes it up. But if all the running backs are healthy, barring some kind of announcement from the Dolphins about their plan at running back, I'm definitely just fading the secondary options, I think, here. And even Achane, I'm just really going there for his role in the passing game. I think we like that. We're very comfortable with those. We're going to make some money. There's just one final order of business. Jamie G, we need your final score prediction for week 2, Bills at the Dolphins.
Woo! Big one, Mafia. We got a big one down there in South Beach, man. I got the Bills coming out on top as road dogs, baby. Give me Buffalo 27, Miami 24. Let's get this win, Bills.
27-24, conveniently covering that, a little bit of a 3-point spread there. So we like that. Very pumped for this one. And we will be back to break it all down next week, good into week 3, because that's how the season works. It'll be Christmas before you know it. Jamie G, anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
This is a big week, Bills Mafia, but once again, it's only week 2. Win, lose, or draw. We still got a rest of the season to go. Let's go down there. Let's be loud, let's proud, and let's cheer this team on, beating Miami, baby. Let's get it. Go Bills.
That's the deep, dark, and dirty secret of being a contender. Every game is huge. You need to win them all because it's hard to get back to the playoffs, to get back to the Super Bowl. But that's the goal. You got to put the work in. And don't keep Mafia Minute a secret, man. Tell your friends. You should check out the Mafia Minute presented by Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. It's a good time. You can find it wherever your podcast and on YouTube. Thanks again for checking out the show, even on the interwebs at mafiaminute.com, on the social media at Seize the Gap FF. Thanks for remembering all that. Thanks for remembering to tell a friend and remembering those flaps. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, remember the thumb. I'm Magnum Mills. He's Jamie G, and he is going to get you pumped for this Bills victory in Miami.
Hey, let's go Buffalo. Squish the fish. Go Bills.